Hello class, this lecture is about your first essay, the Remembered Event Essay, which you will be writing in week 1. Your essay should be 3 pages long. You should choose a topic that is an important event about your life that relates to your spiritual journey. As it is 3 pages long, you should also make sure that you are using MLA formatting. And the basic features of this type of genre writing would include it should be a well-told story using vivid descriptions of the people and places that are important to your story and have an autobiographical dominance. The timing of this assignment, your first draft or your rough draft should be done by the end of week 1, day 7. And you will be emailing this draft to your assigned partner to do a peer review. Emailing your partner, and I will assign these partners and let you know who your partner is. When you receive your partner's essay, you will be filling out a document providing some feedback looking for these particular features in your partner's essay. This feedback will be returned to the student, your classmate, by week 2, day 2. And then you have just a couple of days. By day 4, you should improve and revise your essay and submit your final draft into Blackboard by week 2, day 4. So real quick summary, the rough draft needs to be done by the end of week 1, day 7, and emailed to your partner. You have 2 days to do the peer review feedback and return it by email to your classmate. And when you receive yours back, you have a couple of days to make your rough draft even better for your final draft and submit for day 4. When you're choosing your topic, make sure that you're choosing something that is achievable in a 3-page essay. And believe it or not, that is usually some type of event that happens over a short period of time. Maybe it's just a few minutes or a part of a day. Certainly, probably not longer than a week or so, depending on how in depth or how the story is written. But it's not a complete biography of a series of events. Rather, it is a snapshot of a very specific event that you're going to write about, something relating to your spiritual journey. The well-told story is one of the most important features. Remember that this is an autobiographical type of essay, and so first and foremost, it should be a pleasure to read for your readers. And you want to make sure that this type of essay follows the structure that it arouses curiosity, suspense. It's structured around some type of conflict or a problem that needs to be resolved and leads to some type of discovery or possibly a change. Also, a well-told story means that the reader can identify where this took place or what time or what the context, what is the setting, and you'll want to be conscious of using your dialogue effectively and choosing when to directly quote or reenact what characters in your story said, or whether it's best to summarize who said what and when. You also want to keep in mind that a reader should be able to empathize or identify with you as the narrator and be able to understand that perspective from your point of view. One strategy to create this type of story, well-told story, is to use a sort of a pyramid. And if you look at the picture, you'll notice that there is a shape like a pyramid, where if you think about a story starting out and the first part of the story, the background information is presented, the scene is set, characters are introduced, That's the exposition, the expository part of the story. And then things start to build. So there is some sort of rising action. The reader is understanding the conflict and why it is so important that the conflict be resolved somehow. Then the story builds to the pivotal point, which is the climax. It's the emotional high point. Something has to change, either good or bad. And then things begin to have a falling action as things begin to unravel. There might be some tension that subsides, and then a resolution. Things come to an end. This is one writing strategy. It is very common for writers to use this sort of structure, and it works very well. So keep this one in mind if you want to give it a try. The second main feature of this genre of writing about a remembered event is to use vivid descriptions of people and places. So you want to think about describing specifically the details that describe the people in the story, their gestures, how they dressed, how they talked, what they looked like. Now, you want to choose these wisely, not just throwing in details just because, but rather because it is a person or that detail adds to the specific importance of the story. So it is to make that story become more vivid, but not just details just because. Another great way to make a story come alive is to use sensory images to show what the narrator saw, heard, smelled, touched, tasted. Think about all of your five senses and how you can describe those to your reader. And the last main feature that must be included in your essay would be the autobiographical significance. So basically, the essay should have a point. It should have a purpose. So if you ask yourself, what would be the purpose to tell someone this particular story? What would I want them to know? In other words, if someone said to you, so what would be your answer? So think about the larger themes, the deeper implications, why this particular event that you're writing about mattered to you or to someone else or to the world, or did it change something? And so you as a writer will want to express that autobiographical significance. The ways to do it would include using feelings and thoughts from the time about the event, reflecting on it. How did someone change their perspective about how they thought about things, or change the way they did things, or was there some important change that came about from it? And that is what you would like to express in your essay. Now, I want to just mention one more time the peer review workshop that will happen during week 2. So again, you'll have your rough draft completed by the end of week 1 and email that to your assigned peer. You'll have a document in Blackboard that you will use to complete the feedback for your classmate. And you are going to be reading your classmate's essay looking for these 3 things. You're going to be providing feedback on, did the writer tell the story well? Were the people and places that were in the story, that were important to the story, described enough and vividly that it really engaged you as a reader? And could you catch on to the major themes or the autobiographical significance that the writer was trying to display? And you'll want to provide some constructive feedback. So what were the strengths and what were the weaknesses to help that classmate improve their essay? And that is all we have for today. Good luck on your essays.